All right, so moving on to the final segment, we're going to pivot here to the sport of boxing, and I'll be sharing the latest boxing news that has transpired in the sport of boxing over the last several days. So, the calendar year 2025 is already starting off with a bang, and we see that Turki Al-Sheikh has his hands in the mix of making boxing great again. He has his hands and fingerprints on a lot of big-time events that's supposed to happen in the calendar year 2025. We already know that big-time card of Dmitry Bivol versus Arthur Beterbiev, that rematch card is stacked from top to bottom. That's supposed to happen next month in the sport of boxing. We already know the rumors and the speculation that Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford will fight each other in September. And now, towards the end of last week, we even heard even more news that Turki Al-Sheikh is going to have. So I'll be unfolding that. So in the month of May, you're going to see the return of King Ryan Garcia. He's set to return from his suspension following his controversial win / no contest that he had against Devin Haney last year in the sport of boxing. So he'll be returning, and he will be fighting Isaac Cruz in May in New York City in his return back to the sport of boxing. But on the same card, Devin Haney will be returning back to the sport of boxing, and he will be fighting Jose Ramirez. And if Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney both win their fights, then it sets up for the big monumental rematch that will be happening in October in the sport of boxing. So, this is a great fight for boxing. I mean, I said that Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney is one of the biggest fights that the sport of boxing in 2025 can get, based on the lawsuit, based on the no contest, based on the controversial PED test results. The build-up is going to be great for Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, too, in October, if these respective fighters can get past their returns in the sport of boxing, because they both got to take care of business if they want this rematch. Ryan Garcia is going to fight Isaac Cruz. Isaac Cruz is not an easy contest for Ryan Garcia to return to. Isaac Cruz is a former world champion at 140. Dangerous fighter that puts the pressure on his opponents, has a lot of power, can end the fight in a blink of an eye if you're not alert defensively. I think him and Ryan Garcia match up well. That could go in a similar way of how Ryan Garcia versus Oscar Duarte went. A dangerous Oscar Duarte that was very dangerous, but Ryan Garcia could slow down the pace of the fight instantly once he wants to box and land the check left hook. Meanwhile, for Devin Haney, it's not an easy return back for either. Jose Ramirez is a former unified champion at the 140-pound division. He hasn't looked like the same fighter since losing to Josh Taylor a few years ago, but Devin Haney, this is not an easy contest for him to return back to the sport of boxing. Jose Ramirez could possibly give Devin Haney some problems, but overall, I think that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney will get past these respective opponents to set up for a monumental fight that will happen in October. Now, also to touch up on that, I think Ryan Garcia and Isaac Cruz's fight is supposed to take place at a catch weight of 143 or 144. That'll be interesting to see. And I think Devin Haney is going all the way up to 147, is not looking back to fight Jose Ramirez. Now, if Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia do fight each other, it will be at 147 with a lot of drug testing being involved. VADA is supposed to be the #1 drug testing source for that rematch if it does come to fruition in October. So that's what we're leaning towards. And the final news that will set everything up possibly for some monumental fights in October. Now, talking about Teofimo Lopez, he's in some hot waters with Top Rank and Bob Arum at the moment, but Teofimo Lopez is still looking for an active fight, because the fight with him and Matias fell through after Bob Arum and Teo couldn't come up with an agreement where the fight was going to take place, if it was going to be a pay-per-view or non-pay-per-view event or not. Bottom line is Teofimo Lopez and Matias will not be fighting each other in March. Instead, Teofimo Lopez is not confirmed, but he is looking to fight Richardson Hitchens, excuse me, Richardson Hitchens in a unification fight at 140 to fight for the WBO and the IBF titles in a title unification fight. So, if Teofimo Lopez is successful there, he could have a big-time fight waiting for him at 147 in October, which sets up for the next fight that Turki Al-Sheikh is behind the scenes on as well. Jaron Ennis is could possibly be scheduled to fight Sedonis, Sedonis in a welterweight title fight in April, with the WBA and IBF titles being on the line. So that's another big time fight that we could see at welterweight. And listen, in a perfect world, if things exist, you could possibly get in October, if everybody takes care of business in the first half of 2025, whether it's 140, catch weight, 147, you can see an unofficial welterweight tournament with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia fighting each other in a highly anticipated rematch. And you could possibly see Teofimo Lopez versus Jaron Ennis fight each other on the same card, with those respective welterweight fights happening. And the winners of those fights fighting each other in February. The winner of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, Part 2, fighting the winner of Teofimo Lopez and Jaron Ennis in February, with the losers that Turki Al-Sheikh wants, the losers of those respective fights fighting each other in February. So it doesn't get much bigger than that. Turki Al-Sheikh, whether you like him or you hate him, he's turning around the culture of the boxing for the better. He doesn't want everybody to duplicate Floyd Mayweather's record, being scared of the squabble, being scared of the smoke, wanting to retire undefeated. Oh, excuse me. What does it matter if you don't fight the best of the best and you duck the smoke and you just want to finish with an undefeated record? What does that really mean for your legacy? I'm glad that Turki Al-Sheikh is making sure that fighters don't follow the Floyd Mayweather footsteps anymore, wanting to be undefeated without any risk in their careers. That's how boxing should have always been. But that's my thoughts on the latest boxing news. That is all the time I have for you guys today. I was a little under weather today, but thank you guys for staying tuned in, locked in for today's episode. That is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off. And I'll see you guys on next week's episode.